And those gusty winds continue overnight. We have wind gusts eventually coming down as we get in towards sunrise, but even in the last half hour, reports of 45 and 50-mile-an-hour winds and the center of the storm pushing through the Florida Keys now. You can see it on the radar, but because it's so widespread, it's having an impact all the way up into the Treasure Coast. So crossing the Keys, eventually into the Gulf of Mexico, and we are feeling the effects overnight with, again, some heavy rain in spots, another round of rainfall around Vero and Sebastian, more rain pushing in through the gardens and down around West Palm, Boynton Beach, and offshore. This little cell here is showing a little bit of rotation, the one just off Boynton Beach that's coming on shore. So it is, the winds could be a little bit stronger as that works its way in along the coastline, and the leading edge of that in times of arrival, working around Wellington, the Sky, back crossing 441. And if it holds together, it'll be an issue for Loxahatchee. Just really picking up the winds a little bit more and a little heavier downpours that'll last about 20, 25 minutes. The current wind gusts have dropped a little bit. Most areas around 20 to 30 miles an hour. A few higher spots. Here are the peak winds today, and they are anywhere in the 45 to 55 mile an hour range. The forecast takes this into the Gulf of Mexico, eventually making it a Category 1 hurricane, pushing it north again and weakening it to a tropical storm later in the week. But because of this track, because it's just to the west and it's bringing in some very rich tropical air through most of the week, we're going to get showers and storms, especially each afternoon right through Wednesday and Thursday. Going to be a little bit of a soakers each afternoon for most of this week. Tropical storm warning continues because we still have those gusts around, and we could see a brief period where we get up around 40 miles an hour for a sustained wind. There's a look at the flood watch, the entire viewing area into Tuesday. We have a flash flood warning that was issued about an hour ago that actually extends all the way from Boca down in toward Lauderdale, and another flash flood warning that was issued a couple hours ago for Boynton Beach, Delray. And this area hasn't seen as much rain since, but this is kind of the rainfall winter, if you will. Rainfall totals have really climbed this evening from Boynton Beach Boulevard south into Boca, Palmetto Park, and even more so down through Broward County. And one computer model showing an additional inch to maybe 2 inches of rain the next couple of days as more training cells work in. Rainfall totals will add up, and they'll be the highest amounts along the coastline, quite a bit less back to the west. And the wind field also pushing west. The tropical storm force wind showing up in yellow, move away tomorrow morning. It will still get gusts during the day, but more like 20 to 25 miles an hour rather than the 40 and 50 that we've seen lately. Vipercast model brings this, and it's done a pretty good job with this storm. Takes it back into the Gulf of Mexico, continues to strengthen it, and pushes it north. Now, I don't show that much for this, but really the rain bands that continue to set up each day through at least the middle of the week that'll bring us some heavy rainfall each afternoon and early evening once the sun really starts to heat things up. Steve Villanueva has been watching the radar and the rainfall totals. He has more on that.
Yeah, not only have we been dealing with those really strong winds of 50 miles an hour at times, the real story, the rain, it has just been out of control, especially into Broward County. That's where we picked up 10 to 11 inches of rainfall in the last 48 hours, but a good chunk of that fell, in fact, today. So here's what we're looking at right now. Into the Lauderdale area, around 11 inches of rain, into some of the suburbs there, around 7 to 8 inches of rainfall, and into southern Palm Beach County, also a huge amount of rainfall too. That's where we picked up 4 into the Delray Beach area, into Boca Raton, around 7.5 inches of rain. And the farther north you went, the lower the rainfall totals were, because we did have that banding that set up right on top of Broward and southern Palm Beach County, and that's as a result where we ended up with most of the rainfall today. Now along the Treasure Coast, we picked up generally 1 to 2, some spots closer to 3 inches of rain, and we still have that moisture feeding ashore. Not as widespread as it was earlier, but we're still seeing pockets of locally heavy downpours moving into Palm Beach County. One cell right now working its way across Boynton Beach into Jupiter, Stewart, and Port St. Lucie. For Pierce, it's a little more broken up in nature, with some cells right now moving into parts of Indian River County. You can see that moisture again working its way into Boynton. In fact, one very heavy cell there, and right now into Vero Beach and over towards Sebastian, also looking at some heavy downpours. The center of the storm system right now working its way across the Keys, and the two biggest bands right now, one into southern Miami-Dade County and one working its way from Miami-Dade County into southern Broward County. That's where we're seeing also some very heavy rainfall. Now, over the next couple of days, rain chances do remain elevated with the storm system being so close in the Gulf of Mexico. Lots of tropical moisture around. It's supposed to be the dry season, but we're not there right now since we do have that tropical system hanging around. So rain chances will remain elevated and the winds will certainly stick around for the next few days.